Welcome to another Too Tall Toby practice model designed in IronCAD. This is a spindle support. Interesting model. So it's basically got this triangular shape that doesn't give you the overall size or angles of the triangle. It's basically gives you the hole positions. And so you're going to have to use a sketch to build that. So you start with the holes and create your concentric circles here to define your shape. And then we basically have a extrusion here that we have another boss on the top and some rib things here. That are patterned, 4 of them, 45 degrees off the center of this rib. So not too awful difficult to build this. It gives us some positional information for the hole. Some things to note, where that location is for this rib is actually the height of the top point of that and 1 inch out from here. So basically from the inside of the cylinder, or actually the outside of the cylinder, 1 inch outside of there. So it gives you some information here to build this and gives us the overall height inside this model as well. So we'll use this to design this in IronCAD. So again, we'll use a mix of some sketch geometry and drag and drop features to design this. So let's go ahead and hop over to IronCAD. This one's actually in imperial units. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start with a 2D shape in here. So we'll just click the 2D shape command, and it puts us in our sketch environment. And I'll simply just draw a center radius hole here, and what it's asking for is the radius, and it gives us a diameter of 5/8. So that's 0.625, and we just divide that by 2, so that's going to give us our hole value. Now we can pull this hole and just drag it anywhere we like, and we have some information up here for our curve dimensions that tell you when you click on the curve what the size of that is, and also your position dimensions. So I turned one of those off, sorry. So this is the curve dimensions, this is our position dimensions. So we do know that this hole from this line here, or from the top of this, we'll just say from the bottom of our hole. So we'll just put our bottom hole down here. So that the distance from there is 3.5. So we're going to go ahead and move that up 3.5 from there. So from here to here is going to be our next hole. So we'll just go ahead and draw another hole here. We can hit our S key again to access the hole, and we can make copies of the other one as well if you like. So for example, if we want to select this one, we can just right click and drag. Sorry, I guess we just do a copy with a control key here. We can make a copy of that hole, put it down here, and move it along our line. So we're along our x-axis here, and now we can just position this one, and we know that it's 2 inches from there, so we just double click that and type 2 inches. So again, I'm going to hold the control key, drag over here just to make a copy, select our hole, move it along the x-axis there, and change that value to 2 as well. So that gives us our dimensions for our outside. So we have our 3.5. This is 2 from here, 2 from there as well. So you can kind of see that overall dimension. So again, we don't have to use any constraints. We can just use some of the information in our sketch that's already provided with that. So now we can draw our other holes here. So we'll just go ahead and draw another hole here. And this is going to be a point, let me double check. This is going to be a radius of 0.75. And I can just create these 3 real quickly here instead of making copies, and just go to the center points and place those there. So that gives us our basically our shape for us. So now we'll do our tangent line. So you can see our tangent line up here. So we can select one of these and see it draws a tangent for us. We can just come down here and find the tangent along this curve. So you can see the blue indicator there telling you the tangency. And we do the same for the other side. So we come down here and find our tangency for that, place that, and then we know the bottom ones here. We can do those and just move it right over to the bottom to do that. And last, we'll just use our trim command, which is found on our S key as well, where we can trim out these here inside pieces, and that will give us our overall shape. And we can hit finish, and we can hit extrude to apply that as a new part inside of there, and we know the height value of that is 3/8. So we can just type in 3 divided by 8 inside of there, or 0.375 either way to apply that. So that gives us our starting point for our model. Okay. Next, we're going to just go ahead and drag and drop a cylinder, and we're going to place it right here in the center for now. And we know it has a diameter of 1.5 in there, and we're going to position this. So we do know that this is actually a 1/4 inch from our bottom, so we'll just lock this axis here, say a distance from our center point of our holes here, and we know this is supposed to be a distance of 1.25 from there. And we also know the height of this is from the bottom of the model is defined as 4 inches. So we'll just go ahead and set that as our top. So then we add our top piece, our top cylinder. We're just going to flip it so that it goes the opposite direction. We'll flip it down, and this actually has a diameter of 2.25, so 2.5, or 2.25, sorry. And the thickness of that is going to be, let me check here, 0.5 for that. So that's the 0.5 value. Last, it has a counter bore in here, so we can just go into our shapes. We can draw the two holes if we like, or we can go into our other catalog, which is our starter catalog, and we have our mechanical tools, and we can drag and drop a hole on here. In this case, since we're in inch units, we're going to change this over to English. We're going to do a counter bore, and we know the hole for that is, let me double check that, the hole diameter is 7/8 inside of there, so that's 0.875, so we'll just find that in there, 0.875 for that. Our counter bore diameter will be 1.5, and it's going to have a depth of 0.25 for that. So we can just type in those values, hit the preview, and hit OK to apply that. So that will build us our countersunk hole. Inside of this, like I said, counter bore earlier, sorry. But anyways, now we have the shape. Currently I'm building this model in Parasol Modeling Engine. Just want to show you something here. So the next thing we're going to do is this rib. So we're going to go back to our shapes catalog, and we have a rib feature down here. And I'm going to drag and drop it up right onto this point here. And the reason is I'm just going to align this out to the quadrant here. Oops, wrong key, S key there, to our quadrant point, or the side of the cylinder, because we know this outside distance is 1. And we know the height value is 2.5. So we can leave it as it is right now, but you'll know that there's some extra geometry there. But this kind of creates a interesting case here. It's on a really tangency thin edge, which is basically a non-manifold case. So if you, for example, if you tried to extrude this model in here, it may fail in parasolic. So if we say go ahead and just extrude that, and we'll just extrude it some distance, say 0.25 inside of there. Some cases that may fail. This actually created another part, so that's a part. So if I boolean these, just to show you this, if I go to our features command here, and I'll boolean that as a union, and hit OK, you'll see that this actually fails. Okay, so this is because it creates that non-manifold condition, and this is a parasol model. So one thing that's nice about IronCAD, we actually have both modeling kernels. So if we go to our part properties, we have Parasolid, which you can set as your default in your options, but you can also model an ASYS. And ASYS handles non-manifold cases, so it doesn't really care about that, and we can just add that extra geometry to it and not really care about it. So that's another way to approach that, just to let you know that you have that capability in IronCAD to swap those out. Next, we need to rotate this out 45 degrees, so we're going to select both of those features, turn our TriBall on, and I'm just going to hold my Shift key down, and I'm going to drag it to this edge. It'll put us right on the center of the model. And I'll hit my spacebar again, because now we want to move that, because we created it to the left, but it actually needs to have a 45 rotation from there, so we just want to move that up inside of there. So that's actually 360 minus 45 in our case there for us, 315. To place that there. We can now use the TriBall to create a pattern of all those features if we like. We can also use a pattern feature. Either way is fine. For this case, there's no difference in either one, but we'll just show you the pattern feature as well, just to give you an idea. So you can do a circular pattern. This is our axis. We're going to do 90 degrees, 4 of those. Hit OK to apply that. So that gives us our feature there for our rib feature for those. And you can do multiple features in there, so you can see both of those were patterned. All right, so that basically is all it takes to actually build this in IronCAD. So if we select over to our part, go to our part properties, it gives us a density of 2700 inside of there. And if I hit tab, that should give us a value of 1.22 inside of there for the model. One thing I did note, I forgot to set the width of this, so that's actually not the correct value. It should be 1.2 ones here. So the value of our rib, I forgot to set the width of this. If we look at that, it's at 2.8. It actually has a thickness here. Let me double check of 0.25. So inside of there. So that is why my value is off. And we can also fix these extrusions here. So I just pull that and snap it to this edge. Grab this handle here, snap it to that edge. That will fix us there. Now we should actually have a mass density of 0.21. That should be your value there. So just forgot about that thickness on that, so we can modify those after the fact as well. It doesn't really matter. Again, that was a pattern feature, and they all updated inside of there. So hopefully you enjoyed this model. Not too awful difficult. It was a tier 5, but interesting case was just really the drawing this as a 2D profile initially, and then just adding these on here with the rib inside of there. And sometimes if you guys are working in other systems that have Parasolid, you might have an issue with your extrusion there that you might have to count for as well. So hopefully you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one.